Welcome back, everybody. As we know, college football is as crazy as it's ever been, and there is no one better on the planet to talk about the state of college football right now than my good friend Josh Pate from Josh Pate's College Football Show. You're on ESPN, you're on Yahoo Sports, On3, doing everything these days. First of all, very good to see you, my friend.
It's very good to see you. You just mentioned a phrase, the state of college football. Shruggy emoji. No one even knows. It's changing as we speak.
Oh, it changes all the time, doesn't it? Starting with the Georgia-Bulldogs, though, because they don't change a ton just because Kirby Smart is at the helm. However, as we know, every game is something different. But they're coming off another win on the road in a hostile environment, Josh. They beat Tennessee in Knoxville earlier this year. They go to Jordan-Hare at night and get a win, which you and I know a lot about that stadium. It is a tough place to play. What does a win like that say about this Georgia-Bulldogs team?
I think it's incredible resilience given that, what did they run, like 12 plays near the half? I remember looking down, it was 2-minute warning in the first half, and Freeze kind of put on a clinic offensively, and Auburn did in the first half. You expect that from them coming out of a bye week, just like Alabama kind of got from Eli Drinkwitz out of a bye week a bunch early on. So Georgia weathers that storm. Frankly, they probably felt fortunate to only be down by the score they were down by. But man, the second half, that's what good staffs do. Everyone says halftime adjustments. They're really adjusting the whole game.
Yeah.
It's just when you got in the second half, I think some of the critical officiating mistakes, if you want to call them that, but those occurrences really changed the flow. They're just mentally tough enough to kind of harness that to their advantage. And you mentioned the Tennessee game. It's no coincidence. They went up and survived that close game at Neyland, and they won that, and that was one style of fight. Last night was a totally different style of fight. So now you've got a Georgia team, very imperfect, flaws everywhere, but they're starting to fill the deck of cards with multiple ways they can win a game. That's what excites me the most when I look at them.
Imperfect and flaws everywhere. That's literally what college football is right now. You mentioned the 2-minute. It really felt like 45 minutes, maybe an hour. It took forever for them to get through that 10-minute, 2-minute and get to halftime. But let's talk about Gunnar Stockton, because he's a quarterback that a lot of people some weeks are very high on, some weeks they're very down on. They are up and down about him as the quarterback. What is your confidence level in Gunnar leading this Dogs offense?
As long as the rest of that locker room looks to him as their leader, I'm comfortable enough that that staff puts him on the field prepared.
Yeah.
I know Mike Bobo and his offensive staff, they take a lot of shots. That's the nature of the job he has. Some of it's unwarranted, a lot more of it's warranted or whatever the case may be, but he took some shots in that Auburn game. And that was what we saw from him even in the Texas game last year. So we've seen several moments that would completely wreck a normal player, physically, but especially mentally.
Good point.
And he's just rebounded. And again, it's a product of him being planted in the environment he's planted in. He has grown the way he's grown. I think in part because he's that way, but in another part it's because that's the environment Kirby's built in Athens. And so it's not a surprise to me when these guys step up on these big stages. It's not throwing for 450 yards, Maria. It's just making the decisions that need to be made. And this is a crazy concept, I know, but I think it still works. Doing whatever it takes to just win a football game.
Whatever it takes to win a game. That's exactly what Georgia did to get past Auburn. And when you look ahead to next weekend, we're cooking up a really big football game. Number 5 Ole Miss at number 9 Georgia. College game day will be there. The eyes of the college football world will be on Athens for that Saturday. What's going to be the key for the Bulldogs to get a win in this one? Because as you mentioned, they are flawed. Ole Miss is as well.
Yeah, they are. And as you said earlier, we could sort of copy paste that about every team. I think it's about minimalizing flaws and maximizing whatever edge you think you have. So I looked at this game several weeks ago when you saw that Georgia's pass rush isn't really there to the degree it's normally been. Okay, well, who could take advantage of that? Kalen DeBoer could take advantage of that, and he did. Josh Heupel could, and he almost did. Hugh Freeze could, and he kind of did early but then didn't. But we know we've got Lane Kiffin down the road. We got Steve Sarkisian down the road. That's just the job in the SEC. You're going to face some of the best offensive minds in the country. Well, here comes one. Lane Kiffin comes in. I don't pay 2 bits of attention to how close the Washington State game was because I just believe their full focus was on Georgia already. I think if they can get after Trinidad Chambliss and make him see and feel some different things than Ole Miss offensively has felt so far, that's important. If they can't, it's Ty Simpson all over again. And he has time to throw. Ole Miss got really good receivers. I think the other thing is none of us have watched Georgia's offensive line and been incredibly impressed.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of fighting from guys to try and stay on the field because they're not healthy. Ole Miss's front can get after you a little bit too. So Gunner Stockton, you got like 6 days to rest up, and you got another really, really big challenge coming to town mid-afternoon on Saturday.
Yeah, the SEC is such an intriguing league right now because there's so much parity all over the place.